So imagine this, becoming so good at what you do that you're completely impossible to ignore. Because here's the thing, working hard and being super talented sometimes still doesn't get you the opportunities that you want. So then the question becomes, well, then what does? So I've been really studying and looking at what do the people who have the opportunities that they want and have got themselves to a point where they're just so good they can't be ignored. What do they have? And the thing that I would say is leverage. They've got leverage. They've got to the point where they don't need the opportunity. The opportunity is what needs them. So in this video, I am walking you through the 5-step framework that I am taking myself to become so good that I can't be ignored. And I created this video because what I realized is that creating opportunity based on hope alone, hoping something good comes your way, rather than actively creating the conditions where something good can effectively come your way, are very two different things. So I'm going to take you through in this video what I'm doing that because I've completely given up on hope as a strategy. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so one of the first things you want to do is you want to pick a skill and become really good at it. And here I'll take you back to when I first went into high ticket sales. I remember talking to one of my coaches and he was like, well, this is actually, there is a need for coaches need salespeople. And it's something that can make you the same as what I was making in my corporate job or even more. And so that was a demand in the marketplace for this role. And it's also a role that is willing to pay. And the better I get at it, the more money I make and the better opportunities came my way. So that's one of the things, is to really think about like, what is the skill? Is it needed in the marketplace? Is it something that you enjoy? And the reason why I went into it is because I had this life-changing program that I did. And so I was enjoying sharing this absolutely transformational, life-changing program that I took and putting that in front of other people. I was getting paid well, and the better I got, the more money that I made. And not to mention, I am using that skill set today that I picked up, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So a few questions you can ask yourself here while you're picking up the skill that you were looking to work on. Is this a valuable skill set? Like I can tell you now, some of the roles that are coming my way that are really open to paying a lot of money is like an AI operator. And also like skills where, so there's an AI operator, there's always sales. And I also stay close to revenue. You'll hear me saying this all the time. I stay close to the money, because when you stay close to the money in any role that you have, if you're staying close to the money, it is so much easier to quantify the impact that you're making. And so if you want to raise, or you want to do like a profit share, or you want to do a revenue share, which is where someone has got a much bigger engine than you do. And even if you get a small slice of a bigger engine, of a bigger pie, as it were, then you are making good money. And especially for women, like I'm not the strongest negotiator. So what I work on relentlessly right now is making sure that my results speak for themselves. So I don't have to go do like hard negotiation or anything like that. It's just, it makes it so obvious. Okay, so back to the questions that you want to ask yourself when you're deciding what skill to work on. Is it valuable in the marketplace? So you can see how much are people making. So for example, in the high ticket space, there are closers who make to $30,000 a month. I mean, I would definitely not say no to that. In the AI space as well, there are people who are making a lot of money when they can demonstrate on how they can integrate AI into like regular day-to-day work that also pays really well. And so here what I do is I'll go on like LinkedIn and also look at different roles, and I'll also see like what are people paying for, right? So for example, I did see one time, which was for like a client success manager who has their own personal brand. So they're creating content and it's relevant for this company. So they were paying over $200,000 a year for that job. And so I loved the idea that someone with a personal brand, which is relevant to what this company is doing, that they can leverage that, we're willing to pay top dollar for that role. The other thing is, can I keep mastering the skill for the next 2-3 years? So because what then happens is you end up skill stacking, right? You get your sales, and then you maybe get operations, and then now you get marketing. And so essentially you just end up stacking skills over time so that you can bring it all together to really support whatever it is that you're creating for yourself. And the last thing is, does it have compounding returns, right? So the better I get at the skill, is it something that would actually earn me not incremental returns, which is just like, a double there, or, a little bit more here and there, but then it would just create, like, it can exponentially change your life, which is like 10x your life. So if you're making 3K as a closer, if you get better, can you make 30K a month as a closer? Depending on the deals that you close, you close better deals. You maybe work for someone who has a stronger brand in the marketplace, etc. All of those things become possible for you. So just to think about that as an example. And then the second thing is to really accelerate the skill in terms of deliberate practice. And I'll give you an example. So when I first started working as in sales, one of the things that I did is I got a coach. I was an accountant who became a salesperson almost overnight. I had never really sold before, and I was working commission only. So I only ate what I killed, as it were. So I really had to learn very quickly. So I got a sales coach. He would listen to my sales recordings and give me feedback. Hey, say this different, etc. I would role play with other people on my course, just so that I can get used to getting the words out my mouth, so I can get used to objection handling. So it was very deliberate practice. And I would look at, okay, what area am I weak? What part of the sales conversation? Because there's a lot of leadership inside of a sales conversation. You're taking it through different stages in the conversation. So I had to learn those things and practice the areas that I was weak. So there's a lot of deliberate practice in that. Okay, so here, what can you do? And also, what am I doing in terms of really working on deliberate practice? One of them is getting a mentor. I already have a mentor now as I'm building my personal brand, and it covers also there's sales, there's marketing. There are like so many different components that come together in terms of building a personal brand. So working with a mentor really accelerates the process. The other one is really putting in time in your calendar to practice deliberately. So right now as well, I'm going back to role playing in terms of conversations. I'm going back to getting feedback on my tonality, etc. So that is a big part of it. Also getting feedback on my sales system on its own like that. So that's another one, is just really going out and just deliberately practicing the skill that you need to develop and having time in your calendar and time blocks, etc. And then the last one is just measuring outcomes. Like, are you actually getting the outcomes? So if you're having sales conversations, how many of those are turning into sales? If you're generating prospects, like how many of those are engaged? You got to get them engaged first before it can become a sales conversation. So tracking those metrics is really important too. And one of the things I really want to also bring home when it comes to deliberate practice is falling in love with the process. So it's so much easier to stay in the game, and the energy that you would need to keep going day after day after day is a lot more sustainable when you're focused and falling in love with the process. And this is something that I struggled with for a long time. And then a question can be like, well, how do you fall in love with the process? So I would say, in terms of falling in love with the process, what you want to start thinking about is like, how do you consistently put the reps in a way that you start really feeling good for putting the reps in? And the way I've got to that, the quickest way I've got to that is through the gym. So if you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I always pairing my goals when it comes to like creativity or business stuff or career stuff. I'm pairing it with a fitness goal, because my fitness goals are so much easier to track. The weighing scale doesn't lie. I've got my body fat that I measure, my strength, just how I feel when I'm lifting heavier. So you will always hear me say that. And so when I'm falling in love with the process at the gym, because I can feel the impact, then I also know that is transferring into like my career, although it's just not as visible. It just means I just need to keep staying the course. And which is why I work with mentors, because what the mentor does is make sure that I'm moving in the right direction. So the same way with the trainer at the gym, I work with a trainer at the gym, and as long as I'm doing what the trainer is telling me to do, the only question is when. It's not if. And the same thing with my mentor on the career side, and it comes up building my personal brand. As long as I'm doing what he's telling me to do, I'm always getting on calls every week to make sure this is my next step. Can we confirm this is the next thing I need to do? With a gym trainer, this is the next set. This is the next workout. This is the cool down. Good, we're finished. All right, next time we're going to do the same thing again. It's only a matter of time, which is why I really, really encourage anybody to work with a mentor who's got the results that you're looking for, because they just help you course correct, right? You always know, you just want to know that you're always moving in the right direction at any given time. Even if you're moving slow, it's only a matter of time, because the rest causes a lot of anxiety. And a lot of times the anxiety is coming from that, not being sure that what you're doing is the next next best thing. And that's all you need to know. And that's where falling in love with the process really comes in. So the third step in my 5-step framework is what I refer to as the proof of work phase. So the proof of work phase just means that you already have results, right? I'll give you an example with me. I have sold over $1 million in high ticket sales. So that is a proof of work, something that I can talk about. The other thing is that I have supported founders to 2 to 3x their businesses in the time that I was there, usually in about 18 months. And so that is also proof of work. So then it's just taking that proof of work and turning into testimonial, turning into credibility, and turning into things that you can talk about, because this is where we start building leverage. Remember, the outcome that we're looking for is that the opportunity needs you more than you need the opportunity. And when you're in that place, believe me, it's not just one person who's thinking they need you, it's more than one person. So you're just having inbound opportunities just coming into your inbox like, hey, let's get on a call, let's have a conversation. And you're also building your network because people who are really good want to hang around with people who are really good. So as you keep talking about your work, and this is where I would say I see the biggest disconnect with myself and other people who are good at what they do, is just not talking about it, not making it visible, right? So that's one of the things that you really also want to do is like, how can you talk about what it is that you're doing in a way that other people can really understand it? So here are the things that you want to be thinking about is, am I building a track record in terms of the things that I'm doing? Am I documenting and sharing the results? Don't be shy. And as you go through it, are you earning credibility? Credibility will then start coming in terms of inbound opportunities coming to you. Then step 4 in my 5-step framework, I'm thinking about distribution, systems, and networks. Because here, we really want to be thinking about what is the distribution is just like, am I sharing things without permission? So for example, this is a form of distribution. I'm sharing my knowledge here on YouTube and Instagram and like LinkedIn. You don't need anyone's permission to go out there and like share the work that you're doing. So just really being in the mindset of like, what am I like really owning, so that, you know, you're not like super dependent on any one opportunity or anything like that. Can I deliver my work in terms of systems? So systems is another one. Can you deliver your work in terms of systems? Can you create SOPs? Can you create templates? Can you create frameworks that you're using so that you're not always like reinventing the wheel all the time? Because then that just makes it so much easier for you to deliver the work that you're delivering without necessarily trading all of your time. Because you want to start the end of the game here is, yes, you want to enjoy your work, you want to build a personal brand, but you're also working towards a freedom, which is financial freedom. You're working towards like more of your time freedom. And one of the biggest ways of doing that is to decouple your value from your time. So someone's not looking like, oh, I need Frida's 40 hours. It's like, no. I need Frida to deliver XYZ. And as long as Frida delivers XYZ, if she does it in 2 hours or she does it in 10 hours, then it doesn't really matter. And you'll find like the really good people that you work with really understand that. And like, I work predominantly with people who really value freedom. So the whole idea of decoupling value from time is huge. So here in step 4, what we're really thinking about is we're really thinking about, okay, so you've identified your skill, right? You have been working on your skill, you're identifying like the areas where you need to work on, etc. And then finally, you're just making sure that now you're findable. People can actually find you, because if they can't find you, then it doesn't matter what you're doing or how amazing you are. If you're not findable, you might just be stuck in a situation where someone's not really quite valuing you, right? And so you want to put yourself available to people that can find you and can value you. And then we have step 5. Step 5 is where you're really thinking about your positioning. And I call this high value magnetic positioning. And here what I'm doing is, how do I present myself and what do I say and how do I position what it is that I do to the right people who would pay me at a premium? And how do I position myself and make myself premium worthy, if you would call it that. So that's like a huge thing too. One of the things, for example, that I've done is, if you've been following me on this channel, you'll realize that I'm moving away from general operator to revenue operations. And that's just in like the world of in the medical world, it is like a general practitioner or a brain surgeon. A brain surgeon is more specialized. They start as a general practitioner and then they specialize. So that's essentially what I'm doing in my career right now. And then I'm staying close to revenue because there's no business owner who doesn't want to make money. And then I'm identifying where I can really add value and working with a specific set of clients for that. And then how do I deliver my work? Then creating templates and SOPs and a methodology in which I deliver my work so that it is super clear and very easy for me to deliver so that, again, I can decouple my value from my time. So those are some of the things that you want to be thinking about. Like, who is it that you can serve that can afford to pay you a premium price? How are you showing up for those premium prices? And how are you relentlessly decoupling your value from your time? Because the quicker you can also get them the result, the more that they're willing to pay. So I have gone through my 5-stage framework where I am making myself so good that I can't be ignored. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I am so committed to put myself in a position where opportunities come to me. I am not going to them, and the opportunity needs me more than I need it. And the only way I can do that is being absolutely exceptional. And so this year, and as we go through this channel, you'll see me talking you through how I'm doing exactly that.